We're back for our 5 best player props for week number 12 of the NFL season. Earlier today, we posted our 5 best bets for money lines and spreads. That video will be linked in the description down below, along with our full week 12 predictions. So make sure you go check out both those videos after you get done with watching this one, because again, we go over everything, obviously, over those 2 videos. But today, again, right now, my 5 best player props for the week. We have 4 on Sunday, 2 in the early morning slate, 2 in the afternoon slate, and then 1 for Monday Night Football as well. So before we get into it, folks, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for some more NFL content here on the channel. Every single Tuesday, we post our NFL predictions, and then obviously on Sundays or Saturdays, we post our best props and best money lines and spreads. Also on the channel, daily NBA, daily college basketball best bets. Let's do it. First of now 5 player props for today, or for week number 12, kicking things off with Andrea Iosivas. All right, yeah, a different pick. We will have some big time players in a second, don't you worry, but we're going to kick things off with the former Princeton receiver in Andrea Iosivas going over his line of 36.5 receiving yards. Full transparency, I'm recording this video at 2 o'clock in the morning, I guess very early Saturday morning. This video again is dropping at 5 p.m. I don't know who the starting quarterback of the Cincinnati Bengals is just yet. All right, there is growing and increased optimism and belief that Joe Burrow may be back. Potentially. He's practicing. I have a feeling it's still going to be Flacco, and this will probably be Flacco's final start as a Bengal, but maybe it is Joe Burrow. And if it's Joe Burrow, I don't really think it changes much, honestly. I think Burrow obviously is still better than Joe Flacco, but regardless of who the quarterback is, Andrea Iosivas is going to get yards this week. He almost has to get yards this week because no Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase obviously spits on Jalen Ramsey last week in that Steelers game, and now this creates for, a 1-game suspension for him. And now obviously a lot right now, the Bengals and some, it's kind of a story on Twitter right now, is the Bengals made an AI, image or graphic of T. Higgins mossing Christian Gonzalez, something that doesn't really happen because Christian Gonzalez is one of the best defensive backs in all of the National Football League. But a lot of Patriot fans are quite upset about that, and I'm sure that's an added bonus and added, fuel to the fire, at least for the Patriots this week, and Christian Gonzalez, that the Bengals' own social media team is, posting stuff about Gonzalez getting mossed by T. Higgins. We shall see. But that's obviously the matchup that's going to be afforded, or that's going to be given to T. Higgins. And that's what, obviously is going to hurt the Bengals, right? If Jamar Chase is playing, well, okay, Gonzalez can only hit one of those guys. And now you put, again, the best New England secondary guy on T. Higgins. That means it's time for Iosivas to come through. Because, guys, beyond Iosivas, Higgins, and Chase, who the hell else is in this receiving core? I'll wait. You look at their numbers this season. Jamar Chase obviously leads the team with 861 receiving yards. Then there's T. Higgins with 544. Then there is Andrea Iosivas at 256. Oddly enough, as well at 256 is Noah Fant, but Fant's obviously a tight end. And then who else? Chase Brown's got 229 yards receiving. Okay, he's a running back. Tanner Hudson's got 83 yards receiving. He's a tight end. Gesicki's got 61. He's a tight end. The only other receiver who has yards is Mitchell Tinsley, the second-year receiver from Penn State. I mean, Tinsley's going to be the third receiver this week, but obviously Iosivas is going to have a well-expanded role this week as the number 2 receiver. So the ball's going to have to come Iosivas' way. And Iosivas is, with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, obviously he's either a boom or bust candidate. Like some weeks, Iosivas is going to find the end zone. He's going to find big spots. I mean, Joe Flacco, oddly enough, really likes to target Iosivas quite a bit. However, Iosivas just drops the football, and that's a problem, obviously, honestly, that Iosivas has. He has a lot of trouble, looking in the football and, controlling it into the ground. I will say that. He drops the ball quite a bit. But you're not going to play Tinsley over him. I mean, it's very clear Iosivas is the number 2 receiver for Cincinnati this week. And sure, again, there's Chase Brown. There's going to be Noah Fant, obviously, as well. But Iosivas will be on the field pretty much the entire game. He's going to get a very high snap count this week, meaning he should get the ball at least 5 times. He should get at least 5 catches. 37 yards, not a lot for Iosivas, as a number 2 receiver. Last week against the Steelers, only 3 catches for 20 yards. Well, Pittsburgh's defense played exceptionally well. Joe Flacco didn't play exceptionally well, and the Bengals as a whole just played a disappointing football game. Iosivas had 3 catches for 20 yards. Week prior to that against the Bengals, against the Bears in that shootout in Cincinnati, Iosivas had 5 catches for 66 yards and a touchdown. Week before that against the Jets, 3 targets, 0 catches, couple drops in there. Week before that against the Steelers, 3 catches for 49 yards. Had a game earlier in the year against the Bengals with Jake Browning at quarterback, 5 catches for 82 yards. So my point with all of this is, if Iosivas is given the opportunity and Iosivas is given the targets, he's going to find ways to come down with the yards. And sure, we can expect a big day out of T. Higgins. I think Higgins' line is only like 56.5. I think Iosivas is going to have quite a big day as well. You know what the Bengals are. They don't really run the ball that much. They're running it slightly better than they were, obviously, at the beginning of the season. But I think Iosivas is going to get the ball. Who's going to be the quarterback? Flacco, Burrow, do not know. Regardless of that, I think it probably is easier with Joe Burrow, but maybe not, because Flacco, even though Iosivas has dropped quite a bit of Flacco passes, Joe Flacco in big-time spots usually targets and looks Iosivas' way, because most of the attention, obviously, is on Jamar Chase and on T. Higgins. Obviously, today, again, it's just going on Sunday, it's just going to be T. Higgins, but still, that does open up spots for Iosivas as well. So give me Andre Iosivas this week, over 36.5 receiving yards, minus 115 for Iosivas. On to our second best bet or best player prop, we move to a divisional matchup over at Lambeau Field between the Green Bay Packers and the Minnesota Vikings. Give me J.J. McCarthy over on rushing yards. Usually this works. I know last week, McCarthy did not run the ball once. He had legitimately 0 carries for 0 yards. Pretty much in every single game that McCarthy has played other than last week, he takes off at some point in the football game. We can look at every single start so far in J.J. McCarthy's NFL career, and he has found ways to go over 17 yards pretty much in every single game that he's played. Again, we're going to wipe out the Bears game. Doesn't count, okay? McCarthy was too busy throwing bad passes and overthrowing receivers and throwing picks. Again, do I think it's all his fault? No. The Vikings and, Justin Jefferson, what did you expect? You got rid of a Pro Bowl caliber guy, Pro Bowl level guy in Sam Darnold to say, okay, we're going to invest in the rookie, who, again, McCarthy is still a rookie. We're going to invest in a rookie and figure out, again, he's our franchise guy. We want McCarthy to get going right now. And this debate also, should they get rid of McCarthy? Should they look for a new starter next season? What, you're going to give the guy 1 year? If he fails next year, I still feel like it's a very short leash, but this is a problem, again, and I don't want to get too carried into this, but it's a problem that a lot of teams have. They give up on, franchising young quarterbacks way too early. McCarthy's 22 years old. Give him a little bit of time. It's ridiculous. Quarterbacks have one bad year. Oh, it's all the quarterback's fault. We need to completely switch things up. He's had 5 career starts. Now, anyways, in the games McCarthy has played so far this season, usually he's going to take off. We can look at every single game he's played, right? Other than the Bears game 0 for 0, whatever. Okay. In the 4 games other than the Bears game, he is 3 for 4 going over this rush line. First game on Monday Night Football against the Chicago Bears, 2 carries for 25 yards. Okay. Gain of 14, gain of 11. We'll take it. Against the Falcons game after on Sunday night, I know that was the game again where McCarthy got sacked a million times, got sacked 6 times. He was running for his life out there. A really overwhelming Atlanta Falcons defense, I understand, but J.J. McCarthy still 5 carries for 25 yards. We'll take it. Also, again, the longest rush he had in that game, 16 yards. That's almost at our mark right up front there. Obviously, he gets injured, starts, comes back for a Lions game, 9 carries, 12 yards. Okay, well, it is what it is. Game after that, he had a rushing touchdown in that game, by the way. I think it was a 9-yard scramble, a 9-yard run. Anyways, week after that against the Ravens, not a great passing night for McCarthy. He's yet to have a really great one yet, but still, against the Ravens, at home, McCarthy, 5 carries for 48 yards. He had a 26-yard run in that game as well, the longest so far of his NFL career. Now I'm just thinking game script-wise, and I'm thinking how this game's going to play out between Green Bay and Minnesota, okay? Vikings on the road. Obviously, Vikings-Packers isn't, obviously the rivalry in the NFC North is undoubtedly, the Minnesota Vikings and the Detroit Lions. I'm joking, obviously, it's Bears-Packers. But, Vikings-Packers has always been kind of a rivalry, and sure, you can make the argument about every divisional matchup in the NFL. But, Vikings-Packers obviously has some heat around it. I guess when Favre went to Minnesota, it kind of picked up again. Regardless, though, it's a divisional matchup. Obviously, it is a rivalry game. But more so, it's McCarthy going on the road to Lambeau. And JJ, sure, he's played in front of 100,000 people before in the big house at home. He's played, national championship games. He's played in big-time moments, obviously big-time games in college. He's yet to play in an environment just like this, though. Yeah, he played at Soldier Field in Chicago, but this is Lambeau, man. They live, breathe, and, eat football over there in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Because hell, in all fairness, what else is there to do in Green Bay, Wisconsin? I don't know. I think McCarthy, there's going to be points in this game, though. I mean, it's going to be difficult out there. It's going to be cold. He's going to be pressing a little bit. Okay, nothing's there. First option not there. Second option, okay, we're just going to run. That's fine. I think McCarthy's going to have to scramble quite a bit in this game. Obviously, what the Packers are going to offer. I think McCarthy, again, is going to be fighting for his life. Don't forget, again, that game against the Atlanta Falcons, where the Falcons were all over Minnesota and McCarthy at home. You know what the Packers bring. I mean, there's a guy named Micah Parsons lining up on the opposite side of the ball tonight or on Sunday for the Green Bay Packers against the Minnesota Vikings. So that, again, is another factor. Okay, well, here comes Micah Parsons. Well, how does McCarthy get out of that? Okay, just scramble and get to the outside and start running. Running for your damn life. I think McCarthy is going to find a way to go over this yard total, and it's just not a lot. I mean, 16.5 yards. We can essentially get this with one big scramble from J.J. McCarthy. Maybe it's multiple, sure, I don't really care. I think, again, 17 yards, though, is not a lot for McCarthy to go out and get. And two, again, like McCarthy is a very athletic guy, very athletically gifted player, very quick, and a smart football player at that as well. So J.J. McCarthy should go over 16.5 rushing yards this week on the road at Lambeau Field against the Green Bay Packers. On now to our third best bet of the video, we go to the game this week. If you watched our best spreads and money lines, you know how hyped I am for Shedeur Sanders and the Cleveland Browns going to Las Vegas to take on the Las Vegas Raiders. We are here for it. It is the biggest game of the week on CBS. I don't care about, this is the game I care the most about. I am so locked in to Raiders versus Browns. I wish I could be there in person. Unfortunately, I will not be able to attend. If I could, I would. I'm so pumped. Shedeur's first ever start. We're wearing the Colorado jersey for a reason. Give me Shedeur Sanders over passing yards, over 158.5 passing yards for Mr. Shedeur Sanders. Now, you might ask, well, okay, game script probably calls for a lot of running for Cleveland this week. And sure, it usually does. But hear me out. They're going to start off this game running the ball quite a bit. And if you're feeling like live betting passing yards, which you might be able to do, which, I know you're able to do, but you might want to do, I don't know. You're probably going to get this line all the way down to about 148, probably. You're going to get 10 yards off, I think, after the first drive. Because I'd imagine Cleveland's going to go very run heavy early in this football game. Because why wouldn't you, right? Quinshon Judkins is one of the better backs in the league. I know he doesn't get talked about because he plays in Cleveland, but what Quinshon Judkins has done without really a training camp, without a preseason, has been phenomenal. Judkins already has 600 yards this season, 620 yards. He's been very good this season, right? Averaging 70 yards a game, basically, for the Cleveland Browns. He's been good. So I'd assume Cleveland, and you also have, right, you have Jerome Ford, who doesn't really run the ball too much. You have Dylan Sampson, who's kind of involved as well. I'd assume if I'm the Browns, again, with the quarterback in Shedeur, who is making his first ever NFL start, I'd imagine you run the ball quite a bit early. But the difference between Shedeur Sanders and Dylan Gabriel is maybe Gabriel's a better game manager. I don't know. The difference between these two guys is, though, Shedeur's got a cannon. And Shedeur can unload the football. And unlike Gabriel, Shedeur can throw the ball 50 yards in the air. Dylan Gabriel struggles to put the ball in the air for more than 35 yards. So it opens up your entire offense now. And yeah, I think they're going to establish the run early just to get some respect out of the Raiders. And then once they, have to load the box, okay, yeah, Shedeur's got to get the ball out quick. But I am willing to say, okay, I believe Shedeur Sanders is going to make the adjustments, and he's going to, again, make the right decisions going into the start this week against the Raiders, because obviously last week's appearance for Shedeur, coming off the bench, starting at halftime against the Ravens after Gabriel goes out with the concussion, obviously was not great, all right? They did blow a lead. Was it all Shedeur's fault? No, again, right? There was some blocking mishaps from the Browns. There were some drops, and I will be the first to say as well, Shedeur made some bad throws. Shedeur did not play his best. Sanders, again, I will say all the time, I love Shedeur. He's got to stop doing that crap where he's, backing up a million yards. It was stuff that, those are plays where he was, for the most part, able to get away with in college, but you saw, in games when, they played Oregon a couple seasons ago, better players going to catch you in the backfield. Better, defensive ends and better, tacklers and pursuit guys are going to get you. Sanders, if he stays in the pocket, I think is going to be fine. I know, again, it is instinct for him to make plays by, backpedaling and obviously relying on the arm talent because it is there. One of the better arm talents you're going to find in Shedeur Sanders. But I think he just needs to trust the process a little bit, stay in the pocket, and I think he's going to be okay. It's an extremely low line for a starting quarterback in the NFL. This is Dylan Gabriel-esque. Shedeur Sanders this week is out there to show and prove that he is better than Dylan Gabriel. And I firmly believe it. We have been calling for it every single week of the season. We've been calling for it since the second Shedeur Sanders got drafted in the 5th round, which was unbelievable. that he is the best quarterback on this roster. He is the best quarterback on this team, and he should be the starter. This is the week he gets to prove it. And yes, game script may call for a lot of running action early, and that's okay. Shedor's going to get his opportunities. The Browns should be able to open up the offense really after that first drive. And that, again, all starts with them setting up their own Quinshon Judkins. Boom, play action, send Shedeur on boots. I think it's going to be huge. Get Shedeur to the outside. That's where he's most comfortable. And we got to find ways to get the ball to Jerry Jeudy, Harold Fannin, who's been the leading receiver all year long for the Cleveland Browns, and I guess Cedric Tillman as well. We'll see, again, if David Njoku plays. Njoku is questionable going into this week. I think, actually, no, Njoku, I believe they've cleared Njoku. I went over this earlier today in the other video. Njoku is playing, but obviously he's taken a back seat to one Harold Fannin this year, the rookie out of Bowling Green, because Fannin has been exceptionally great and was such a great pickup for the Browns in the draft. Regardless, though, there are guys for sure to get the ball to. Again, we need to look in the football. You need to catch the football this week. If you're, the Browns receiving core, you need to help out your rookie quarterback in his first ever start. And I believe Cleveland will get it done. Again, we had the Browns earlier today on our best spreads and money lines, so make sure to go check out that video if you haven't yet either. But we are going with Shedeur Sanders. It's perfect timing this week in Las Vegas. It's the place he wanted to play at. We thought he was going to be the starting quarterback, or at least next in line in Vegas. They didn't do it. It's okay. Shedeur's out here for more than one reason this week. He's got to prove himself as a starter in Cleveland for the rest of the year. But on top of that, it is also proven to the Raiders why they should have picked him, because there was talk about that earlier in the year. Give me Shedeur Sanders over 158.5 passing yards on the road in Vegas against the lowly Las Vegas Raiders. On now to our next best bet. Yeah, we're doing this. I know. A.J. Brown over 59.5 receiving yards. I know. Hold on. Okay. Before you laugh, hear me out here, okay? The Philadelphia Eagles are the most dysfunctional 8-2 football team ever, okay? I don't know if the Eagles are favorites to win the Super Bowl right now. I actually don't know who it is. It might be the Rams. But the Eagles are very involved in that equation, obviously. Well, hell, they're the reigning defending champions. They've looked good this season. Yes, they had a couple mishaps earlier in the season against the Denver Broncos and against the New York Giants on Thursday Night Football on the road. But ultimately, the Eagles are playing good football. They're not playing entertaining football, but they're playing good football. They are second in the odds to win the Super Bowl behind just the Los Angeles Rams. The Eagles right now are clocking in at plus 500. And yet, A.J. Brown is making it his mission to stir things up in the locker room. It's interesting. It's very interesting. It's something new every single week. Last week it was, don't start me in fantasy this week. I'm not going to get the ball. What? This week is in the locker room. What you want to say? What was the exact quote you want to say? I'm washed. Does that mean Saquon's washed too? I mean, this is probably, for the most part, we've known this is kind of just about A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts. But now, we're bringing Saquon into this too. So, again, the exact quote is, the reporter asked A.J. Brown about speculation that he isn't the same player this year. And A.J. Brown said, well, I guess Saquon ain't the same player too then. What? I mean, will you just throw your own teammate under the bus? The guy who, if you didn't have last year, you don't win the Super Bowl without Saquon Barkley. And yes, again, Barkley wasn't the biggest in the game itself. You don't get to that point last season if not for Saquon Barkley. Barkley changed that team last year. So you're going to say, he's not the same either. What? Here's the thing, guys. If A.J. Brown can't get 60 receiving yards this week against the Dallas Cowboys, one of the worst secondaries in football, I'll say it too. Get this guy more targets. I'll start complaining with A.J. Brown if he can't get 60 yards this week. No, but in all seriousness, the Eagles are going to give A.J. Brown the damn targets this week. They're going to. I don't know why. Someone's weird the line. Why are they only 3-point favorites this week in Dallas? Can someone explain to me that? Yeah, they're always playing close games, but really? ESPN's matchup predictor has them only at a 56% chance for winning? Are we serious? That makes no sense to me. Here's some real quick. They have a 56% chance to beat the Cowboys. What percent chance do the Chiefs have to beat the Cowboys? 65. What? The Eagles are so much better than the Chiefs. Yeah, stylistically it doesn't go well for the Eagles. How do the Cowboys score against the Eagles? I don't know. The Lions struggle to score all game long against the Eagles. The Packers, same thing. How are the Cowboys are a good offense? Yeah, how are they going to score against this team? Anyways, I don't think the Eagles themselves think they're in much trouble this week. I think they're going to give A.J. Brown the here damn targets. Like, all right, you're bitching about not getting the ball. All right, here you go. Hurts is going to start feeding him. I don't know. Something's up with Hurts and Brown, though. I don't think they like each other anymore. I really don't think so. I think there's something going on. All right, I can almost guarantee you A.J. Brown's not going to be an Eagle next year. They could not trade him this season because, hell, you're reigning champs, right? You're in the midst of another Super Bowl run. But again, stupid stuff like this for the Eagles is ultimately going to cost them the Super Bowl. Because right now, if this wasn't going on with Philly, I know they're not playing entertaining games. I know they're a very boring team, but they're winning. They would be by far my pick to win the Super Bowl. Right now, hell no. Definitely not. I can't trust this team to win the Super Bowl right now when you're an 8-2 football team and your all-pro receiver is complaining and bitching about not getting the ball. Sure, again, yeah. Does it suck A.J. Brown only has 450 yards a season? Sure. Your team's 8-2. The name of the game is to win. You won the Super Bowl last year. If A.J. Brown had 450 yards in the Tennessee Titans, or on a crap team like that, like he used to play in Tennessee, I know he never had a real year where he was bad in Tennessee, but if he was only putting up 450 yards for a losing team, yes, complain. You have the best record in the NFL. You're one of the favorites to win the Super Bowl, and you're still complaining? So again, A.J. Brown against a bad secondary. If he can't get it this week, I have nothing else to say about A.J. Brown ever again. If he can't get 60 yards this week against the lowly Cowboys, after all this, we're done with A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown's yesterday's news. He is washed then, okay? He is not the same player. I don't know if we can say the same about Saquon, but again, right, teammate of the year, A.J. Brown. Way to go, pal. Ooh, man. Sure, teams are going to be dying to bring you in next year to their locker rooms. Actually, Josh Allen would take anybody next season. So, actually, please, I need to see Josh Allen and A.J. Brown on the same team. Because A.J. Brown's complaining about no targets right now. Wait to see what happens if he goes to Buffalo. You're getting the ball all game long, pal. Anyways, we move on now to our final best bet of the video, our best player prop of the video. Let's go to Monday Night Football. Christian McCaffrey. McCaffrey's been a monster all year long, right? I mean, those narratives and stories about McCaffrey being done, obviously coming off the injury, boy, were those obviously proven wrong this season. Christian McCaffrey somehow is still playing at a very elite level. McCaffrey this season has 700 rushing yards and 700 receiving yards. It's some crazy stuff, you know? I mean, McCaffrey likely, it's very good, probably. He'll have 1,000 this year. Probably going to have 1,000 rushing yards and 1,000 receiving yards, something McCaffrey's only done once ever in his career, 2019 with Carolina. He had 1,400 rushing yards and exactly 1,005 receiving yards. He's probably going to do it for the second time in his career in 2025 at 29 years old. There's no slowing down Christian McCaffrey. You know, the injuries last year sucked. Went out for the season at one point. Thought, big regression on McCaffrey's end. Nope, he is perfectly fine. And sure, the Niners kind of sacrificed everybody else's help for McCaffrey this season, kind of. And obviously it's just a joke. But McCaffrey has been absolutely instrumental to the success the 49ers have had this season. The fact that they are in the playoff race and still in a very good chance to make the postseason this year, a lot of the credit has to go to McCaffrey. They're 7-4, and McCaffrey's played in every single game this season. And you look at what McCaffrey can do on both sides of the ball. I mean, he's got, again, almost the same amount of... I mean, he's got more receiving yards than he does rushing yards this year, which is absurd. He might finish with more receiving yards in general. So anyways, line for his rushing yards tonight, I think it's like 76, or on Monday night, 76. Receiving yards for McCaffrey, it's only sitting at 43.5. Yes, please. Yes, please. Because McCaffrey gets targets every single game. Regardless if it's Mac Jones, it's Brock Purdy. Obviously, now we know it is Brock. Brock is the starting quarterback of the Niners, and that's okay. Niners have a great outing last week on the road in Glendale against the Arizona Cardinals. It's great. Brock's the quarterback again. Okay, I mean, Brock gets the ball to McCaffrey just as much as Mac does. I mean, they obviously both look Christian McCaffrey's way quite a bit. So last week, yes, I know McCaffrey doesn't go over this line. It's the first time he hasn't gone over 43.5 yards all year long. 5 catches for 40 yards. Okay. He should be fine. Guys, look at all the lines McCaffrey's put up all year long. 66, 67, 43. I guess half a yard short, but still. 66, 67, 43, 73, 57, 82, 92, 88, 52, 73 yards in every single game. Receiving on top of that, right? 80-plus yard days on the ground, too. Again, it is absurd stuff that Christian McCaffrey is doing. But McCaffrey, bottoms out really at 5 catches a game with the potential of upwards of 7, 8, 9, and even 10 catches per game. The season high this year is 10 catches for McCaffrey on 15 targets. That was in Mac's second start against the Arizona Cardinals. The first time around, obviously, right? Because Brock played the second one. McCaffrey's going to get the ball, though, is what I'm saying. Carolina, a defense that is all right, but I mean, the Kirk Cousins-led Atlanta Falcons almost outscored the Panthers last week. And sure, again, right, Bryce Young threw 400-plus yards and they won, but Atlanta scored 27 points against this team. What is San Francisco going to do on a Monday night game, right? I guess it was Penix for the first half, and obviously in came Kirk Cousins. But I'd expect McCaffrey to be very involved in the pass game, like he is every single week, man. I mean, again, it is McCaffrey's team. It is. And a lot of what they do offensively is built around McCaffrey. And I understand, again, they are getting more and more healthy. Who knows what the hell's going on with Brandon Ayuk. But, right, Juwan Jennings officially back, obviously, right? Pearsall's back fully. Again, Kittle's fully back. They're all back now. I get it. But McCaffrey is still the biggest part of the San Francisco 49ers. And I do believe he's going to find a way to go over 43.5 receiving yards this week on Monday Night Football in what should be a big win for the 49ers over the Carolina Panthers. So, folks, thank you all for watching our 5 best player props here for week number 12 of the NFL season. If you have not yet, though, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy the video. Make sure to comment if you did disagree with any of the picks. We'll be back again next week for NFL Week 13 action with our predictions, best money lines and spreads, and best player props as well. Folks, thank you all for watching, and Mamba forever.